Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. A big falcha. Welcome back to the Pondering Spirit podcast. It's been a little bit since I dropped one, so I tried to get this out a couple of times. Just stuff kept on popping up, like life catching me on the hop. And then also as well, I was off doing a few readings and ponderings, and then when I had the pondering in my head done, I done readings, and then I had to ponder about it again because it was actually relevant to what I was pondering. And also, kind of going through some stuff I actually met, sound actually to the people that I've met over the last couple of weeks. A couple of them were actually going through what I was going through in a similar kind of way, in their own way, but similar to me. And I've been busy, so here we are. We're back now. And we're getting on with it. We're back to the grind. Getting stuck in, as the man says. I do want to say one thing though to one of the people that I met with the rocking hair and the tattoos. I'm fighting with you. I told you I was going to fight with you. I found it in the book a couple of hours later, and I warned you if you did it I was going to fight with you, and I'm fighting with you. Okay, now I'm over it. I'm past it. I'm through it. I dealt with it. I processed it using all my tools and my skills and everything that I know. You're sound. You're dead sound. It was a great kindness. I extended it. I paid it forward to the daughter and her friend, and I hope you enjoy this. We were at the Borgosh Theatre, and we went to see the Lord of the Dance, and the two of them had a great time, and I had a fantastic time, and it was one of those good moments in life. And I said to him, do you want to buy a t-shirt? So we bought him t-shirts, and now they have a memento from an amazing experience, and a keepsake for a day where we made super memories. So Guramahago, greatly appreciated. Thank you. And you did that, so you deserve a thank you. And kind acts don't go unnoticed. Yeah, a bit to get through actually. Before we do go into it, the Pondering family has grown quite a bit in the last 3 to 4 weeks. So welcome to all the new listeners and the people that are dipping in and out, people that are going back and listening over again and introducing other people to it. Some more lovely messages coming in, and thank you. It's great for confidence, but it's also great to know that it's actually getting to where it needs to go, and everybody's welcome. I hope you get something from it. It's not for everyone. It's for the community of ponderers, and it is growing, and it's fantastic. And this is for absolutely zilch. It's for the love of it. I get something from it. You guys get something from it, and it's actually a great buzz. I tell you who doesn't get anything from it. Me old one, me ma. That's for all the people listening in different countries, which is greatly appreciated as well. L1, AUL space WAN, means the old woman of the house. It's the mother. Me ma, telling me the other night, I said to her, did you give her a listen? She goes, I did, I tried, love, but I got bored a half an hour into it and turned it off. Well, fuck you then. Some people will tune in and stay tuned in, and some people will tune in and then tune back out. Great crack though, isn't it? That's a good one. But anyway, she can piss off. She can find her own little community. She's barred. She's banished from the land. Anyway, loads to get through. This might be a bit of a dense one, but I'll try and make it enjoyable instead of drolling on. So with all that being said, You know the drill. Get yourself settled. Get yourself into a nice comfy sofa or your head in a pillow. The volume up in the car or the earphones in, walking the dog or doing the gymming. If you're just cleaning. Settle in. Gonna get a cup of tea, whiskey, wine, spliff, whichever. There's no judgment. Please don't be judging other people either. We're all ponderers. Everybody stall it. Mum. We go pondering. So here we are, pondering. So I actually pondered quite a bit. Done the readings, had to re-ponder like I was saying. And I had a rough idea in my head of what I wanted to talk about. I know it's flipped on its head. So I'm telling it in different ways because I recalled more stories and experiences and all that sort of stuff. I was saying before about I get something from readings. I've said it a couple of times in a couple of different podcasts. And it still remains to be true. I learn from you, you learn from me. It's symbiotic. Like, it has to be that way. We all feed off each other. And I suppose you build relationships with people. You build relationships with spirit. Their people in spirit and them. And then they build a relationship with me. It's not the plan. It's not thought about. It happens organically. It doesn't happen all the time because I do try to have boundaries and I do, try to practice it a certain way and protect myself and protect others as well. Can't get too involved because they could end up living on your every word or living on your lip, and it's not good for either. And then, people reluctant to say this, but I've had a couple of stalkers. And it wasn't healthy for me or for them, and I can see why people become so dependent on me, or they think they have to be, but it's not good. But then there are other times where it is absolutely inevitable or unstoppable, or it's by design and it's for a bigger purpose and a bigger reason. They're deeper connections. One such one I recall to mind. It reminds me of somebody that I met years and years and years ago when the kids are only babas. They're only itsy bitsy. And we were still spending a bit of time up in the hospital with Lillian. Anyway. How it goes is I was asked to go and see this family. But the day beforehand, as usual, somebody pops in. There was the energy of a young gentleman who sat on the end of my bed, and I could feel the indentation in the bed. It was definitely not a dog or a cat. It was only me in the room, a big double bed. And I wasn't making it up in my own head. It was first thing in the morning. I wasn't caught between a dream state or a half and half kind of situation. And it wasn't like what I said in the last reading, the dream reading, where I was here or there, and I was getting messages and what have you. It was just a presence. But I could see this young fella at the end of the bed. He was he was in his late teens. Mid to late teens. Gorgeous smile on the young fella. Fantastic eyes. Just real bright, vibrant, friendly and lively. And he didn't say much with his mouth, but his presence was huge. And I just went, alright, you're here for tomorrow, were you? Alright, grand. Right, well look, I know you're there. I'll see you up there. I'm aware of you. I got you. Matty's got you. I look after you. The day goes on, no more was said. He's not hanging about, he's not hanging out with me. He's not there prodding at me, poking at me, annoying me, sucking the life out of me. Gone. the day comes and goes. The following day, the day of the reading, as upon me, and I get up, go about my day, and I do my usual things. Whether I do yoga or relaxation, go for a walk, watch something, read something, distract myself, focus, meditate. I have loads of different rituals depending on what I need. Loads of different kind of like tools as well. And the day of a reading, sometimes it can be very heavy. Excuse me, the energy around me, or my energy, and I can be moody. It gets very heavy and I get very serious. And even though I'll go up and do the reading and it'll be joyful and happy, or it can be sorrowful and full of grief, but still healing at the same time. It still feels very heavy, and I had that feeling, and I was trying to prepare myself. Anyways, I head off up to where I need to go to, and I show up and I knock at the old door, and this lady answers the door. I am welcomed in very warmly, and this lady is abrupt but lovely. Give you a short offer back, but very abrupt. And if you didn't get to know her, then you wouldn't know that that was her way. She wasn't mean or rude, but could come across that way when you initially meet her. And then after that, you just realise that she's just a fucking soldier. Doesn't talk shy, gets stuck into life, and does what she needs to do. And if you can't do it, she'll give you a dig out. But if you're being lazy, she'll tell you you're being lazy. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Another side note as well is I invite people to bring along photographs, and usually we place a face down on the table. I don't see it, but we do a ritual, light a candle, invite them through, all that sort of stuff. I'll explain rituals in another pod. And the build up to a reading, I'll explain that as well. So when I go to people's houses, I'll also say take down any significant photographs that might give anything away, just for the sake of authenticity. More often than not, I say to people, just give me your general location when I'll get there. You can give me the address when I get there, or an hour beforehand I'll say give us the air code, and then I'll make my way up. I don't want to know anything, just for clear mind for me and for authenticity and to be genuine as well. However, when I walked in, there was family photographs all over the sitting room. Anyway, I went straight over to the photograph of the boy that I saw. And it wasn't in memoriam, it wasn't like an altar dedicated to him, it was just amongst all the other photographs. And I was like, that's him. I explained the situation, what happened the day before, all that sort of stuff. Imagery wise as well, he fit to build a photograph was there, and I was like, that's him. As it turns out, he was a young gentleman who lost his life to suicide. Very tragic story. Aren't they all? We kicked on, and this is his mom I was talking to. And the reading was a sprint. It was one of those sprint readings where it was 90 miles an hour, no stopping, for 25 minutes solid. And it was message after message, feeling after feeling, sense after sense, and it was all coming across. And there was tears of sorrow, tears of joy, tears of grief, tears of happiness, tears of relief, tears of just pain and sadness. There was a few giggles along the way as well. It was powerful stuff. It was amazing stuff. And it hit home to me as well. I've communicated with a lot of people who'd taken their own life as well before, but for some reason this was hitting home more so. I don't know why. Could have been his age. I don't know. He was only a chiseling, only a small one. We sat there and went through the motions, and we finished up after about 25 minutes. As I said, had a hug, but we went inside the conservatory and had the chats and a cup of tea, and sitting down.
This audio was created with async.com.
Chats and a cup of tea, and sitting down and communicating for someone is a concentrated effort, but it's not limited only to there. he was still with us. He was still there, and he was still unbelievably strong. And as we were talking, she poured her heart out to me, and I poured my heart out to her, and we just bonded. And his dad was there as well. He jumped in the conversation, and I bonded with him. And it was a whole thing. We all just got each other. He was still passing on bits and pieces as we were talking, and I was throwing out memories he was throwing into my head, or little sayings or experiences and messages for them, and it continued on. And finally got to a point where I got tired, and I was like, look, I have to go. I have a pain in my eye. My stigmatism in my left eye plays up when I'm done, and that's how I know, okay, I'm physically done. I get a migraine. I can't see out my left eye. Anyway, more hugs and handshakes, and I thanked them, they thanked me. It was lovely and meaningful and impactful. 2 weeks or so goes by, and I think no more of it. I get a random notion of him, and I say, oh, alright son. It's like thoughts flowing into my head. Just a little side note for context. So he did have a diagnosis of autism, and he, was very introvert. He was very functional. Wasn't profoundly affected, just more of kind of like with the processing of emotions and regulation and stuff like that. But he was unbelievably intellectual. But he was very quiet and internalised, so didn't speak a hell of a lot. When he didn't say much. But for me, his spirit language was feelings and thoughts. So yeah, alright son. Started putting across a few things, and I had his mum number on the phone, and I didn't hesitate. Dush, 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 dush. Yep. Oh, beautiful. Oh, fantastic. Oh. No more said. Another month later. Alright son. Jesus Christ. You're back again. What's up with you? In his own little way, put across a few things. It was his mum's birthday, I believe. And I was like, okay, here you go. Sent it across. It's your birthday, is it? By the way, happy birthday. Things after telling me. She responded lovely. And this goes on for, God, about a year. Every so often he'd throw his head back in. And I wouldn't hesitate, I'd send it on. No. It finally phased out. I'd had to say to him, I said, yeah, okay, all the respect in the world, all the love in the world, pop in if like if you need to, but it was just, I don't know, boundaries again. I had to learn boundaries, because didn't want to keep reminding her. It was a responsible effort on my, whether it was right or wrong, I don't know. Yeah, I just didn't want to keep re-traumatising her, bringing it back to her and bringing it up, and like, I know she was grateful and everything, but you run the risk of excuse me, you run the risk of doing more harm than good at the time the point has been made, and she needed to go off and do her thing, grief wise, and do it her way. I haven't actually met her since, but I remember quite clearly the bond I had made with her and made with him, and I was part of it. I was part of the process. And whether I transferred onto them or they transferred onto me, I don't know who needed who more, because I actually needed to do that at the time, because I was a child in spirit, and also what the parents were going through, and that hit me right between the fucking eyes. And they were the most wonderful people in the world, honestly, like, genuinely as close to friends as you could be in this scenario. And the respect and the appreciation towards each other's stories. And she would text every so often out of the blue after a certain length of time. She began to, how's you, how's your lot, how's everything? And she was an inspiration to me. Not necessarily for the grief, for the strength. And I say that a lot in my podcast with people that inspire me. Give me the crippled, give me the broken, give me the damaged. Give me the strong. Yeah, just another amazing person that I met, but I got to know her more than anyone really. And she was completely candid and honest about everything she'd done and how she went about it. And admitted how shit it was and how I'll drive this point home. She'd made friends with her anger. And I was always afraid of being angry. But she was dead right. Anger's a real thing and it needs to be honoured. And if you're angry, you're fucking angry. Get angry. Get it out of you. If you bottle that shit up, that's when you climb a clock tower. It's when you start assassinating your own family emotionally. The loved ones around you, start assassinating them mentally. You know? This is my thoughts on Annie. The bond I had to him, the deep connection I had made to him over that time as well, was amazing. Like, I knew him, I knew his energy signature, I knew his personality, I knew his character, and I knew him intimately. As far-fetched as it sounds. His mannerisms. And I've had loads like that over the years. That one just springs to mind. There was well, another one that kind of came back to me as well was I haven't seen him in years now, but I call him a dear friend. Kind of person that you wouldn't see for years, and when you see him, it was like you only saw him yesterday. And actually began when I saw him doing a reading years ago. I connected him with his family member, and I actually asked him permission to talk about this, so it's cool. He alright, Si? What's up, bud? I hope you're well. I hope you're continuing to build the empire, especially the one I saw for you years ago. You're a good skin. You're a diamond geezer, good lad. But the reason why this connection was really important to me was not only was he a great guy. He is a great guy. You didn't die, Simon, did you? Let me see if I can feel. No, he's still here. No, he's still here. Dark sense of humor, Jesus Christ. Years and years and years ago, when I was really opening up, I think it was got at it maybe a year or so, and Sai got on to me and asked me to go and see him, and I did, and I was, from what I remember, a lovely experience, a great experience, and I learned a lot from it, and I believe you got something from it as well, Simon. If I'm not correct, feel free to correct me. But what he done for me was that he put my name out there, in the sense of spoke very highly of me, very complimentary of me, but very truthful of me. And I learned a lot about myself over the years, where it's about what I'm trying to achieve, about what I'm trying to do with my, people call it a gift, Some people call it an ability. I call it a responsibility. I have a responsibility. And Simon got it. He passed on my number to the people that were appropriate for me to see. People that like wanted it or needed it, not just the people that were into it. Oh, let's get them out for a crack. I'm building up towards a story here, so stick with me. So there's nothing worse than preparing yourself for a whole day, because that's what goes into it. The effort that goes into it. A session might last 45 minutes with one person, 2 hours with one person. You could be there. My sessions used to go for 4, 5 and 6 hours with 4 or 5 people. I'd be there for that length of time, and I put so much into it. But there's nothing worse than you prepare yourself and you get ready and you go, and you meet people that are fucking wrecked ahead how yous. Go on, tell me something. And you're just like, oh my fucking God, this is not what I want to achieve at all. And actually, funnily enough, last year, 2025, 2024, last year, I think, God, I can't remember when it was just before summer, I had decided I was going to reopen my energy again. And I was going to do it, and it was all for the sake of it. It was just because I can. Not a hobby, but it was my thing to do outside of everything else. It was for me, and it was for you, but it was what I'd done in my spare time. And I didn't advertise or put it up or whatever. Simon, I don't know if you know this part of it, but it's true. Every word of it is true. I'm not a shy talker. I might be a jibber jabber extraordinaire, and I can entertain people with a waffle, but not when it comes to this. But I was there and I was saying, okay, over the imposter syndrome, I'm over all the emotional stuff. I've done all the counselling and the therapy, and I felt like my soul was fucking missing something. Felt like I was not living my purpose. I have my kids, and that's my purpose in life, and I have a job, and that's my purpose in life. But it was just this for me. What was my purpose for me? What was I doing for me? Didn't advertise. Sat there for a couple of days, and I got this text message out of the blue, and this lady had says, "Hiya, got your number from Simon. I hope you don't mind. Can I make an appointment to see you?" And I said to myself, if ever there was a place to jump back in, it was now. And this was the person, because I would say to people, don't hand out my number to just anybody. Don't just send anybody my way. If you know somebody who's struggling or who could do it and would appreciate it, I will share it with them. And Simon was always that guy. And then when I heard that, I took it with both hands and I went, that's me sign. I went and I met the person, and it was a beautiful reading. And I don't mind saying, before going up to it, I hadn't done one in 9 months. Could be longer, I don't know. Oh, do I still have it? Am I still open? Am I still strong enough? Is my energy still good? Has spirit turned their back on me? Like, is it, oh my God, was I just fucking mental all along? All the stuff. And I was trembling. I remember driving down the country lane to the house where I went to meet her, and even getting there, until I got there, I was just so worried that I was going to fall flat on my face. Anyway, met the lady in question, and it was brilliant. No, give myself a fat head, that's not what I'm saying at all. What I mean is that, like, it was flowing, it was open, she was lovely, we'd had chats, I didn't feel like I was on show. And that happens when you go to places where they're kind of like, go on, perform, monkey, do your little fucking dance.
This audio was created with async.com.
Happens when you go to places where they're kind of like, go on, perform, monkey, do your little fucking dance. And that's not me at all. I go the opposite direction when I hear that. And that happens more than you know. But after I left and the sensation I got, the feeling I got of fulfillment and purpose and function, I knew I made the right decision. And that's greatly appreciated, Si. But over the years, it would happen where I would get random senses from his loved one who had passed, and I would send things his way. Or usually we'd be having like a chat or a conversation and past, checking in. How are you getting on? I'd been out to see him a couple of times, some friends and some family members, and I hope those other people got something as well, pal. Again, you gave me a platform to go and do what I needed to do. You gave me the platform to go and make a difference in someone's life, and that's ultimately what it's about. I'm saying it all along. This isn't for anything, whatever about, you know, fees and stuff like that. But ultimately, that's not important. When you have a platform to do your thing, that's priceless. For everything else, there's MasterCard. So we did all that. What was it you called me one time? I sent you a message one time over something. I'm not going to say what it was because it's private. And he goes, "Oh, you little fucking freak." And I went, "Oh, but I mean that in a lovely way." Of course, I knew you meant it in a lovely way. It was hilarious, actually. I pissed myself laughing. But it is quite interesting, and it can be quite freaky, I suppose, because I'll explain the other side of it now. I don't know if I've ever said this to you, Si. How it works. So, again, getting to know the energy signature and the mannerisms and the personality of who you lost. The connection to that person was so strong because, one, and more importantly, is that the connection was to you. It was between the two of yous. I suppose I got the sense of humour off the person as well. I got their way. Everybody loved that person, and then some people didn't, and they can fuck off. Like me or love me, it's who I am. But the connection was fundamentally between the two of you guys. Still is, by the way. But also, this was my way of doing you a solid and doing him a solid, because, again, it's symbiotic. It has to live in harmony. Your needs and my needs and his needs, but also what we need to be doing, what we need to hear, what we need to say. But he would just come in casually, and I know if we were sitting there now having a cup of tea, he'd just waltz back in, because they'd be like, "Oh, here you go. Here's a message. This is what's being said." Da 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 da. Because that's the relationship that's there now. It doesn't change, not just between you and I, but between me and the other side. There's actually a couple of people there, but predominantly, you know who I'm talking about. Everyone else listening be kind of like, "Who the fuck is he talking about?" None of your fucking business, right? Just listen to the story and enjoy the story. I'll go. That's enough of a love letter to you, Simon. Jesus Christ. You have a fat head now. Can't be giving you that much confidence. That's not the Irish way. We love to keep people down and miserable, don't we? I'm only messing. If there's something nice to say, you should always bleed and say it. Pull the trigger. Say the nice thing. Say the thing. No, but the last thing I'll say on it is, dude, honestly, the work that I've done over the years with a lot of people, greatly appreciated, and I'm sure I'll catch up again with you soon. We need to, man, and see what can come across this time. Be mad, wouldn't it? And I hope you're well. So, the opposite of sitting with my own mate, Soy. This actually annoyed me at the time, right? This annoyed me at the time. It's actually a deadly story now. It's actually bleeding brilliant. I'm going to dub this one Dildos and Tea Leaves. Yes, that's what I said. I said dildos and tea leaves. And the reason why I'm saying that is because both were involved. So I goes off up to Blanchardstown. I was invited by this group of young ones. Excuse me. Turns out they were friends of my sister's friends years ago. And they said, oh, come here, my friends are looking for, they're all in like a bit of a place and they're looking for a bit of help and guidance and that. We'll squeeze them in. Yeah, alright, fair enough. I'll put them on the list. I'll put them to the top of the list. At this point, I think, again, it was still booked out, like flat for a year. I drive all the way up. I'm living in Monasterevin at the time. I drive all the way up and I get there. And when I meet them, they're lovely. They're all young, very nice, but actually well behaved, and well mannered. So I'm like late 20s, I think. They're all in their early 20s. This one girl opens up a bottle of drink. It was, like the bottles of Fat Frog. I said, oh, do me a favour, if you wouldn't mind, would you mind not drinking till after it? You don't mix tears with drink. If you wouldn't mind. I can't tell you what to do, but I'd appreciate it. And then also, as well as that, there'll be a better experience for you. And you'll remember most of it, and you'll be there, you'll be present. I've learned over the years, maybe a fucking drink beforehand will actually help. I know that now. Back then, that's the way it was. So she says, yeah, of course, no problem. So I said, but when we're done, I said, get bleeding sloshed. I said, do your thing. Alright, so we start. And I go into the back of the house. It's a house of Blanchardstown, which is sitting room, middle room, kitchen and conservatory out the back. 3 bedrooms upstairs. It was a nice size gaff now. But I was asked would I mind sitting in the conservatory. I said, let me get a feel of this, because if there's a cold spot or a hot spot, I'll know then if I'm comfortable or not. Anyway, it turns out it was lovely. Wicker chair, seats, candles, incense, little lamp in the corner. It was real chill, absolute zen. And we went and did the business. So it went on, and I asked the first person to come in. You don't get to choose. I don't get to choose either. Spirit chooses who comes. If anybody comes, it's organic. I don't. If I can, I will. If I can't, I won't. This night anyway, everybody got a fair shout. But I go to the first girl's like, "Come on in." So she comes on in, and I give her a reading, and it was, again, the jaw opens and the eyes open, and it was lovely. And she's like, oh, I wasn't expecting this. And I was like, what? So yeah, no, I wasn't expecting this. I wasn't expecting it to be like, so. But she said so good. I don't like saying that. I don't like to be boastful or braggadocious. Anyway, but she paid me a compliment. I said, oh, okay, all right, that was weird. I said, all right, let me go the next one. So she goes outside, immediately baits a drink into her. And I'm like, okay. Next. Comes in. I start communicating, doing what I do. And they start getting really loud outside. And I just knocked on the window. I went, lads, do us a favour, will you? Need to be able to hear myself think. Just take it down a bit, will you? Like, oh yeah, sorry, yes, yeah, sorry. I go back inside. They just continued on making noise. And I was like, alright, okay. I'll power through. So the second person that was in ended up having a real tearful kind of experience, but lovely. She gets up, she goes outside, Matt's car running, she goes, I need a fucking drink. She starts lashing the drink into her. But when I walked outside with her, it was like that, you know, when kids get caught messing and then the daddy walks back into the room. Bear in mind, there's only a couple of years in the difference. I was still the grown up in the fucking house for some reason. They all start on their best behaviour. And then I goes back inside with the next person, and we sat down, and it was great. Got through it, but they were even louder this time. And I went back outside. We finished up, and I'm alright. Like, the connections are going well. People are getting help and what have you, and I'm getting through to people. And I walk back out, and I'm in bad mood. And I'm like, lads, what the actual fuck? Anyway, it's two girls standing in the middle of the kitchen, over the kitchen island, having a bleeding sword fight with dildos, baiting the faces off each other, hitting each other in the head, chasing each other around the kitchen. It's not a sex story, by the way. What it was they decided that what they wanted to do for a girls' night out, because one of the girls was after going through my brain gum, so they all rallied around her and they all said, oh, let's get the girls together and we make her feel better. You know the way you go. It's bleeding brilliant. They decided to have an Ann Summers fucking sex party, and they thought I was T-Leaves Matty. No, a communicator, medium, spirit person. They were looking for just a bit of fucking like entertainment. And initially I was like, how fucking dare you? Oh, fucking dare you insulting my energy. But I could see now that's what they were looking for, a bit of fun, a bit of entertainment, a bit of cracking, and like people see it like that. People not everybody, but there are people out there that do see it like that, and like I've no interest in meeting those people. Like, that's a great story in the sense of, I can tell you now, imagine the look on my face walking outside and two early 20-year-olds battering each other in fucking like, you can't write this stuff. You can't. But in the end, they're getting more than they bargained for. And then come the end of the night, I was to find out subsequently that they ended up all putting the stuff away and having like really deep conversations and meaningful conversations and all that sort of stuff. But they're the people that I try to stay away from. I try to steer away from. I'm not in it for that. I don't advertise. I don't plug. I don't go looking for it. I wait for it to come to me. And that's because I have a practice. And I made the decision a couple of weeks ago that I'm going to venture into... No, I started... I'm venturing into training to become a counsellor, a grief counsellor. Because over the years I've noticed, and I've said this before, I'm not an actual counsellor. And I'm not an actual therapist. Not trained. But even in the short couple of weeks that I've been doing bits and pieces, workshops and that, I've noticed that over the years, to a large degree, what I've been doing has actually been therapeutic. Kind of the guidelines and the structure and the format of doing it, unbeknownst to myself, is actually in line with counselling. Now, it's knowing the psychological background to it and the human behavioural sciences behind it, and what goes along with grief.
This audio was created with async.com.
What goes along with grief, not just through loss and death in life itself, loss of other things. And that's why I call what I have a responsibility. And I have my way of doing it. I was shown something the other day about a notice board, one of those community notice boards, like a Facebook thing. It was shown to me. And I am not shiting on this next person that I'm talking about who does tea leaves and tarot cards, and the seventh daughter of a seventh daughter who was 7 times removed from the number 7. Although there is me taking the piss out, and so I'm a fucking hypocrite now. Apologies, because people are probably giving me shit. Especially on Tinternet. People love to be Tinternet warriors. Anyway, but I was shown the notice board, and the absolute height of abuse, what she had advertised, was parties, was drinking, was groups, and what have you. And this person was absolutely fucking slated. And I have no interest in that. I do what I do. Someone will get something from it. Somebody won't. Come and meet me, you'll know if I'm genuine or not. But yeah, I don't put that out there that that's the way I do it. What I am trying to achieve, and this ties back in with you again, Si, is that you got it. And so there's a lot of other people that I met as well that would have been helping me work from a platform that it was for the higher vision, which was to help heal if possible, but to bring some sort of peace or reconciliation to people, or hope. There's enough shite in the world, boys. There's enough misery and fucking dread and yeah. And I want to be that. So I have a mission statement that I'm working on, what I want to achieve. But what I can tell you about my practice is, and I'll practice till I get it right, is, well, I have my style and my personality. Some people get it. Some people get me. Some people don't. Some people get how I do it. I have my own rules. I've learned my own rules and regulations of how to kind of moderate and regulate a session. In other words, know when to talk, when to listen, know when to have a professional clout about you, but also know when to be human. And I'm not above these people. I'm the voice in the room of the other side, but I'm not preaching to people or dictating to people. And I might have done that in the past more than I'm willing to admit. But a level of humility about me that I've learned. How I'm built. I'm an emotive person. I'm perceptive. I'm fucking hilarious, lads. Does anyone else notice how funny I am? Honestly. Not one knock joke have I used. It's all been off the cuff, witty, banter. Fucking legend. My mammy doesn't think so either, because remember, that bitch only listens to that half an hour of my podcast and thinks I'm a dry shy. So she can stay fucked off. I have a great imagination, and I'm really sensitive to everything. Emotions, thoughts, feelings, other people, myself. I like to think I'm respectable. I'm fucking quirky. I love being a little bit weird. I don't mind people saying that. I love being a little bit broken too. I love that. Because it's what I am. It's not who I am, it's what I am. Who you are is a myth. What you are. Built up of so many different components. I'm working on that theory, on that pondering. More importantly though, I like to think that I'm the everyman. I'm from Ballyfermot. Born in Finglas, raised in Bally. I've said it before, say it again. Living in the Thai, moving back to Port Arlington quite soon actually. But yeah, I'm no airs and graces. And I think that's what makes me me. I think that's why people have a deep connection with me. It's been said to me many times, God, I'm talking to you like I know you my whole life. We're cut from the same fucking magical cloth, lads. I am professional, magical, weird, and fucking legendary all at the same time. But I'm still a Ballyerhead, out and out. And it doesn't matter whether you're from a Thai, Ballyfermot, a housing estate in Cork, or somewhere up in Monaghan or wherever. We're all the bleeding same. I just want to connect with people that are going through stuff and learn for myself and help you learn something. I try not to get too close, because if I get to know somebody too much, it muddies my judgment. I might end up seeing what I want to see for them. Instead of seeing what I need to see for them and saying what I see, catchphrasing it. But yeah, this is what the pondering community is. And then the people that someone contacted me there a while ago, where you been searching for you, blah blah blah. That's actually been quite regularly the last while. That happened a couple of months ago and a couple of weeks ago and just the other day as well. And I'm putting them onto the whole podcasty kind of thing. But even before I had the podcast, I did have my own little community, and I had to walk away from it for a couple of years. I had to have the boys. Had to come back stronger. Yeah, let me ramble on there a bit. I'm going to continue on with my study for grief and counselling and psychotherapy. It's going to be years. But I think being responsible with people's feelings and emotions, it's completely different what I'm learning. Like, even though there's similarities in how I was practicing my mediumship, but the function of it is completely different. But it absolutely has me soul lit on fire, and I want to be in a position where, as an Irishman, I believe better than any water you can get in Lourdes or Medjugorje, better than any blessing you can get from a fucking priest, the most powerful healing you can get in life, and I'm saying this as an Irishman, is a cup of tea and a fucking shot with a how you alright? Go on, what's wrong with you? And then shut the fuck up and listen. Person just wants to talk. They don't want to hear your bleeding opinion. Opinions are arseholes, glad I keep on saying it. I can just listen. Hospitality. I actually got that from one of my workshops. Hospitality and companionship. And I've been about that for years. But imagine being in a position where I'm trained and I do the reading with someone, and then there's aftercare. That's the idea anyway. But it's a long road. Wouldn't dare mess around with it now. I'm not qualified. Post note as well that for the people that have stuck with me, is it the 14th or 15th pod? And I know the quality has, I don't have a production team, don't need a production team, I'm doing this as a hobby. Sticking through the first couple of episodes where they were a bit dodge, because I literally just got a phone. I was saying this to someone the other day, actually someone that I met. Like, I literally said to myself, I'm starting a podcast, got the app, started a podcast. On a fucking win. Bit of spontaneity. And now I'm here with a laptop, a microphone, a fancy holder, and an editing suite. And thank God it's kind of people stuck by me and are continuing to stick by me. So fair dues for sticking through the ones at the start, because I think the content is very valuable. And I was going to go back and I was going to edit them, but then you'd have to take them down, edit them, then put them back up, and then, like, I'm not that good. I'd rather just, honestly, they were what they were. They represented where I was at a time. I did it the way I did it at a time. It's a tracker of growth. It's a tracker of how I got to where I am now, and everybody's coming along with me. For those people that listen from episode 1 right to this one, fucking love yous. I love yous. I'm going to give you a bonus story about a deep connection that I still have. Somebody who I used to look after. But studio engineering and Hollywood stuff, I need to go and get a sup of water because my mouth was dry to fuck. See you in a minute. So, the bonus story. years ago, working in home care, another gentleman I was looking after who had a progressive, deteriorative physical disease. But he was the sweetest man you'd ever meet in your life. We worked together for approximately 2 years as he worsened. He himself always had a smile on him. And I live by this phrase: show what harm. And I'd be there with him most mornings of the week and some evenings. And if there was an afternoon needed or an odd occasion, I was asked to pop in by the wife. We didn't immediately connect because he was so shy. And believe it or not, I'm actually a shy person. Awkward. But what I do is I overcompensate and then go fucking loud. So that extrovert's shy. And it's a lot of it is smokes and mirrors, so people don't actually get to know me. That's grand. But after a couple of weeks, the original main carer left and I took over, and we started to bond, just started to talk, and I'd be coming in and just normal kind of stuff. Normal kind of, how was your night? How are you? Do you need that? Let's get the bits done. Da, 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 da. And the longer I got to know him, the longer we bonded. I was working on the CE scheme at the time as well, and I can tell you they were some of my happiest days working in care, in any form of care. I used to love getting up early in the morning. It was the best way to start your day, was to go down and have the chats with this guy. And he lost the power of his voice as well as time went. And that brought about a bit of trouble, because that means I have to do all the fucking talking. And I don't know if you've noticed, I struggle with that a bit. So, okay everybody, stop laughing. It's not that funny. But it got to the point where I used to come in and tell him what I was getting up to. So I was on the hunt for like a partner at the time. I had no girlfriend at the time. And I was on Plenty of Fish, and I don't think Tinder, but I was on Plenty of Fish, and I'd be meeting people and going on these like fucking awful dates. Awful dates. It's an absolute cesspit, online dating. Can be fun if you use it the right way, but it's definitely difficult if you're looking for something serious. But I would come in and say, kids are with their mom tonight, I'm off eating such and such or so and so, we're going to go and do this. And he'd roll his eyes and he'd go, another one. And I'm like, yeah. I said, so stay tuned, I'll bring you the feedback tomorrow. And he'd say in a sarcastic but loving tone, can't wait. And then I'd have the question, can you really not wait? Or is he being sarcastic? And then we'd have a giggle together. Anyway, we go off and I'd go on the dates, and I'd come back the next day and I'd tell him about the time I was catfished, and fucking tears would be rolling down his eyes. I tell him about meeting absolute full-time psychiatry patients. Some of the people I met, lads. Think I'm weird when I meet these fuckers, and I mean that in a non-judgmental fact.
This audio was created with async.com.
Think I'm weird when I meet these fuckers, and I mean that in a non-judgmental, factual kind of way. I remember one of the best stories I told him ever was I went up to Johnny Fox's up in the mountains, and I met this young Indian girl, and she was born in India but lived in Ireland for years and had a real D4 kind of accent, and I didn't know that till I met her now, because don't forget, it's all talking online. And when I met her, she was like, quiet enough, timid enough. And as it went on, she got louder and louder and more confident and confident. And I was thinking to myself, right, she's coming out of her shell, grand, okay, fine. And she's after having a couple of drinks, and she's like, oh, you have to try the seafood and the da. And I'm like, I'm not into seafood. She's like, oh, you must. And I was like, all right, I will, I'll try it. I was like, yeah, right the first time, that's shy. And she would still continue to talk even faster and faster and getting more hyper and hyper. And there was this gay couple beside us. And the reason why I say gay is because, well, one, they were gay, right? One of the women looked like the real butch, stereotypical kind of gay, and then the other one was also a very butch, stereotypical gay. But they were two women, but they darted me a look like one of the boys would give you, to kind of go, there's something not fucking right with her. I've been out with boys like her before. She's fucking mental. So I looked at the couple beside me, and they just kind of raised their eyebrows, and I raised my eyebrows back going, I don't fucking know. I barely know her. But I started becoming more conscious of myself anyway. And then the couple beside us again, they just like rolling their eyes and laughing to themselves and looking at each other every time you one said something fucking stupid. And I'd throw a look across the other way, kind of going, I know, fucking save me. But what was happening is that she was excusing herself to go to the toilet, because she was at this point drinking a fair bit now. But she was excusing herself to go to the toilet. I thought it was just the water running through her. Anyway, as it turns out, she was going in and she was doing cocaine in the toilet. Now, ne'er a pill or a powder has entered my body. Grows in the ground, it's definitely sound. But anything that's chemical, I'll put it down. She was up and gone and up and gone and up and gone. And then the couple actually got up and left. And again, darted me another look. It was like, best of luck, son. You're on your fucking own. And I was there going, anyway, it ended in fucking disaster. She ended up starting a fight and rowing. Fucking all that shit. Oh, it was horrible. It was awkward. Then I had to drive her home. And that wasn't fun either. She gets out of the car and she goes in, and I leave. And the first thing that came to my head was, can't wait to tell himself in the morning. And I did Julie. Not Julie as in her name, Julie. D-U-A-L-L-Y. Her name wasn't Julie. That wasn't a fraudulent slip. I goes back to himself the next morning. And I remember actually going in early, so I would have time to tell him the story. And he looked at me, and again, he's fucking, there's no power in his lungs at this point, so he can't laugh, but his face is laughing, and his tears rolling down his eyes. Again, sorry, down his face again. And then I'm loving telling him this story, and I'm real action it. Like I'm doing the fucking sitting and the up and the down, and I'm showing him the facial expressions I was getting from the ladies beside me. Just the body language, sort of like the way a woman was carrying herself, her mannerisms. He thoroughly enjoyed it. And at the end of it, and he just goes, only you, mate. Only you. I was like, I fucking know, Joe. I said, but will I keep going on these dates? And he was like, you have to. You have to. For no other reasons alone, but comedy. And again, as I said, about the times where it was catfished and just weird stuff. But I didn't just connect with the man that was in the body. He was as honest a soul, he was as genuine a soul as you would ever meet. Now I can quantify this, I can measure this, and I can say that I know this for a fact. I don't give a flying, well, I don't care what anyone else would say, because I know what I seen, I know what I felt, and I know what I experienced, and it wasn't wishful thinking. It was actually quite the opposite. It was fearful thinking, but in spite of the fearful thinking, the beauty still happened. After many months of struggle, my flower passed away, and I was devastated. When I tell you, devastated. I spoke about him in interviews for jobs and broke down. And I don't care. So much I care for this guy. This was... The connection we had was soul level and meaningful. And at the time, I was literally my first client in home care as well. I forgot to mention that, by the way. My first client in home care. And I started... This is back when I started from nothing again. I had to retrain and I had nothing at the time. No qualifications, and I had to provide for the kids. I had so much going on. And this guy was there from the start. And I can feel... You alright, Joe? Oh, I forgot to say his name there now. After we tried to protect his identity. Anyway, so... But he literally just popped into me there. Oh. So... I was apprehensive and scared. Will it work out? Am I doing the right thing? Will I get work-life balance right with the kids? All that sort of stuff. And they welcomed me into the family, and the rest of his life I was blessed to be part of it. Not only just to provide a service, but to provide laughter. And I was the target of a lot of jokes as well. Not a malicious or mean bone in his body. Nothing like that at all. Just crack, banter. And I took it, and I gladly took it. And I went in, and I'd be saying, give it to me. Give me your best shot. And he ended up succumbing to his disease. And I was devastated. And the impact it had on me. But even when he left this world, he didn't leave. It was only a couple of days before I started getting a sense of him. And there was other happenings that went on behind closed doors that I don't believe I have permission to say. I haven't asked for permission, so I won't say it. But we validated he was still around. And I never went to see him the once in the graveyard. I would drive by it, and I'd wave into the graveyard and go, "You alright, Flower?" But I wouldn't sense him there. I'd sense him over my left shoulder. Just floating there, be happy head on him. Big smile, warm smile. And as true as a sweetheart as he was here on this side, is as true as a sweetheart he is on the other side. And I find myself, even now to this day, when I'm feeling a bit shy, or I'm a bit stressed out, or I'm overthinking something, or I'm pondering too deep, where I'm now obsessed with something and driving myself to a alley, I hear this lovely little voice in my ear that says, "Sure, what harm?" And I've taken everything I've learned from that experience, and I've taken it forward with me, and it's helped shape me, not only as the man I am, as the human I am, as the carer I am, but also my spirit awareness. I'm aware of the importance of what I do, the responsibility of what I do in all walks of life. Whether it's the communication thing, it's the carer thing, it's the father thing, it's the family man thing, the everyman. This guy was an everyman. Actually, I'll tell you one little tidbit. He was great for giving people tips for horses. And I'd be talking to one or two of the other carers where we'd overlap, but our paths would cross, and I'd say, "Alright," goes, "Yeah, just after winning 40 quid, Joe gave me a tip." Fuck off. I don't gamble. Only gambling I do was on life. How about that for a bit of wisdom? That was shite. That was terrible. Talking to the next person. How you getting on? "Oh yeah, after winning a couple of quid, Joe gave me a tip." Alright. I see Joe. "How'd you get on with your few horses?" "Yeah, up 60. Down 20. I'm up 80. You had a good eye for, what do you call it when you read the form? Says, you never give me any fucking tips. He goes, you don't gamble. He's a country fella, by the way. He doesn't sound like a dub, but if you want to hear it in a dub accent, that's fine. And we know about me, my accents and my impressions. I don't do them. He goes, you don't gamble. I said, no, I don't. But, like, you know, give us one anyway. So he does. He sends me on a text, like, the next day or whatever. And I goes, nice one, Joe. I'm going out to stick a $5 on it. I went into the bookies in Port Arlington and I had to ask me, how'd you put on a bet? How fucked up is that? It's funny, isn't it? And she goes, oh, write it there, blah, blah, blah. And then I'll put it through the thing, and then we give you the thing, and then you have the thing. I'm like, I grant it. So I'm there thinking, a $5, alright, I'm fucking smashed. On a CE scheme, I'm working 20 hours a week. I'm making ends meet, but it'd be lovely to have the price of a chicken fillet roll and a coffee all to myself without having the budget for it. You know, everybody goes through one of those phases. Anyway. I'm watching the horse racing and I'm like, it's fucking deadly. It's a great buzz. Yes. Race starts. I know the colour of my jockey's shirt bounces out. And I'm like, go on. It's from the start. Go on. First hurdle, boof. Horse doesn't even jump, runs straight into the fucking thing and then falls over. Gone. Race over. Waste of a $5. I went back in and I said it the next day. No, his response was, sure, what harm? That's the fucking $5 I could have done with you, dope. It's one of my favourite stories about him. But again, he helped shape me, practice everything, but just practice life as well. Because he just didn't believe in being mean. He just didn't believe in being nasty. It was just be nice, no matter what. You be nice. I quite enjoyed telling that story about Joe. I miss you, bud. There he is. Alright, Flower. What a man. Anyway, here we go. So there's another one in the books. I'm going to have a rapid turnaround, and I have the next one in my head that I'm going to do later on today or tomorrow, but it'll be out this weekend, so you can have two. Thanks for waiting patiently, and I hope you've enjoyed it, and thanks for listening to me. I hope that either you've got something from it, or was it a bit of escapism from maybe you're having a tough time. Maybe you just wanted to leave the world behind for a while. Maybe you just wanted to get out of your own head and into mine. Maybe you just needed a bit of perspective, or you just needed to hear something nice. Even if it was just a little bit entertaining. I'll ask you all to do me a massive favour. And that's look after yourselves. And take it handy. And I'll see you further on up the road to the next one, yeah? Will we stay going? Yeah, judging by the feedback, I think I will. I would have done it for my own sake anyway, but it's just beautiful that I get to share this with you, and may the Pondering community keep on growing. And once again, thanks for all the new... I think I had in a couple of days, I think I had 100 listens. It literally spiked, so it was amazing. Yeah. Sean. Yeah. Okay. This is it now. In Ireland it's bye 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 bye. Sean.
This audio was created with async.com.